green man. Oh! Minnesota Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer seemed pretty resigned that emerging superstar Anthony Harris probably won't be resigned, and it's understandable given the situation that the Vikings are in. They are in a tough cap situation for 2020, even though hashtag cap Smith. They are dead last and currently in salary cap, but of course, cut Xavier Rhodes, structure a contract or two, cut Riley Reef, baby, you got Stu going. But Anthony Harris deserves and will likely get top tier safety money somewhere in this league. So the Vikings are in between a rock and a hard place. It is what it is. But also, Zimmer is blunt and honest to almost to a fault, and also he isn't shy about throwing players under the bus. Now, I don't know if this was a direct shot at Anthony Harris, but the fact that in his presser yesterday he talked about, safety isn't that important of a position. Bullshit. Yeah, tell that to Harrison Smith. How about that? Or just imagine how porous and how terrible your secondary would have been if Anthony Harris wasn't back there being a ball hawk, leading the league in interceptions, as well as being a top 3 PFF graded safety yet again 2 years in a row. Cool, but yeah, whatever. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, fantasy football. You're waiting for a player, and then you're like, you didn't get him. I didn't want that guy anyway. Or same thing in the draft for like draft winner and whatnot. But it's whatever. So looking at the Vikings secondary without Anthony Harris, if he walks, he signs a deal for $10 to $11 million a year. He deserves it. Great for him. But also, what does the Vikings secondary look like? Well, it's Harrison Smith and no one else. And that's not hyperbole because the Vikings literally have one safety on the roster / signed to a futures contract. So, I mean, you could re-sign Sendejo, who, when they brought him back from Philadelphia last year, he actually played really well, especially in the playoff game against Michael Thomas, who, of course, there's history there. But, bring him back, have him be a starter, I guess that would be a fine Band-Aid, but also remember he will be 33 in September. And also, a lot of fans still call him Pendejo, but, they could try to re-sign Jaron Curtis, except I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, given the way that he perceives the way that he was treated by the team down the stretch and also his social media game, I don't think it's going to happen. Also, he's probably facing a suspension at the beginning of 2020 season because of the DUI gun charges, but so whatever. So you could dive into free agency, but also you're not going to have a ton of money to spend anyways just because of the restrictions with you had with the Anthony Harris deal, especially if you do resign Everson Griffin, and also if you do resign one of the cornerbacks. So you're settling for, $2 to $3 million a year for a second or third tier free agent safety. Welcome to the team, Trey Boston. Sure, why not? Is that going to be the plan? But I think what it does do is it reshifts recalculates the Vikings calculus when comes in terms of draft needs. Because I think that if Anthony Harris is gone, it does move up safety pretty high on the priority list in terms of position wise. Like it's going to be right up there with cornerback, offensive line, tackle / guard, as well as 3-tech as well. And as I die here. Oh no, do I have the coronavirus? Crap, maybe I do. I am Asian after all. But then again, it wouldn't shock me now at this point if the Vikings do end up spending, significant day 1 or day 2 draft capital in a safety. So, if Xavier McKinney from Alabama is there at 25, come on down. You're the next contestant on the Minnesota Vikings. Or Antoine William Jr., Skyuma is there in the second round. Yoink. Snoochie Boochies. Yeah, that's right. And so all of a sudden, with the Harris gone, safety becomes a massive need for the Vikings in a great but expensive free agent class in terms of safeties, Anthony Harris included in there. And then also, the safety class isn't insanely deep. A couple of big names at the top. So I think the Vikings would have to shift their strategy and make safety priority early on in the draft. And then... Or hell, maybe Zimmer just believes in his ability to develop safeties. Maybe he's just buying in his ego. Because, respect to his due. He did turn Sendejo from a borderline special teamer who couldn't beat out Hussein Abdullah into a borderline Pro Bowl caliber player, especially in 2017. Also, his work he did with Anthony Harris, who came in as a UDFA corner from Virginia, coming off an ACL. Eventually, he became a Pro Bowl safety in his own right. So maybe he believes he can do it again with a couple of random late round or UDFA slappies. And you do have to give him the benefit of the doubt. But, man, it'd be such a kick in the nuts if Anthony Harris isn't there. But What can you do? It is what it is. All right, your thoughts of this Viking secondary without Anthony Harris? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, subscribe for daily Vikings takes. If you want to support the work, pull us on the Venmo. Please give us a follow on social media as well. Until next time, Skol, production value.